That's funny. Come on. Get out of here. Thank you so much. Beat it. Hey, Shelly. How are you, my friend? Nice to see you. We're going to get started in just a minute. Hey, April. So nice to see you, baby. Everything is good, I hope. But make sure I got this sound up good. Hi, Jim. Bonjour. How are you, my friend, in Paris? Can't wait to see you. In fact, I'm going to give you a call. We need to make a plan because there's a festival that I think we should go up to in North Carolina. So I'll holler at you the next day or so and we'll talk about that, okay? By the way, thanks for connecting me to your friends. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I'm running slightly a bit late this morning because I was sitting here and the guys next door decided to mow the yard right as I was ready to go live here. So, yeah, it is underwater right now. That's unfortunate, isn't it? Yeah. So, okay, so let's get down to business. Here's what I want to talk about. I want to give you, first of all, grab your journal, grab your pen, and I'm going to give you some questions to think about if you're in the context of a relationship right now. I'm going to give you a list of questions I want you to answer for yourself. And then I also want to share with you how your wounds of unworthiness are actually reinforced and driven more profoundly into your soul every single day. I'm going to let you in on some secrets there. So, all right, so just to get going, here are the questions I want you to ask yourself. And by the way, if you're not in a partnership right now, it's okay to still go ahead and ask yourself these questions, hypothetically, if you will. All right, here they are. When you look at your spouse or partner, what bugs you about them? How do you wish that they would behave? So what bugs you about them? How do you wish they would behave? Do they embarrass you in some way or for some reason? How do they frustrate you, and how have they frustrated you lately? What would you like your spouse or partner to be more like? Who or how would you like for them to act? What have they said or done that has hurt you? How do you want them to grow personally? How should your partner or spouse act around others? And then here's a really good question. When you look at your partner, what do you appreciate most about them? And final question. What beliefs does your partner have about you that are the most untrue? What beliefs does your partner have about you that are most untrue? Now, I want you to ask those questions because, as we have said in the last couple of days, a lot of times the biggest issue in an unconditional relationship is living in the past and not living fully in the present moment. And if you want to live an unconditionally loving relationship, then you have got to figure out how to slough the shit. You got to get the old story out of your mix. You got to step fully into the present, and you got to start creating the story together with that person that's the love of your life. That's what you got to do. And so, part of this journey is shifting from the past, shifting out of the future, jumping mightily in the present. But I want to let you in on a secret. You're fighting a massive system designed to keep you in the past or keep you in the future. Let me drill it down for you. And this is really, really quite so simple. Hi, Janine. Hi, Leslie. Nice to see you both. All right, now, every single day of your life, did you know that the average person consumes more than 7,000 advertising messages every single day? 7,000 messages. Billboards, Facebook, ads that you see in various places, television commercials, things you hear on the radio. You are constantly being inundated with ads. Ads to sell you shit. Ads to sell you stuff you don't need. Ads to make you feel insignificant. Let me break it down for you. And here's the thing. I've been in the advertising industry a majority of my career, but I've been a little odd in that sense because what I have done is looked at the advertising industry and really dissected it from a psychological perspective. Let me tell you how the ad industry works and ultimately how they're keeping you so profoundly rooted in the past or in the future that you can't leap into the present. Now, the disease that we're going to cure by learning this little lesson today is what I call compare and despair. Hi, Sean. Compare and despair. How often have you looked at someone else in your life and you've made a comparison about yourself to them, and then you despair afterwards? I hear it from my lady client friends all the time. Oh, she's got a nicer set of boobs. Who the hell cares? She probably spent $10,000 on those damn boobs. Oh, he's got a nicer car. Their house is nicer. I just am not as pretty. I'm not as articulate. Compare and despair. Horse shit. Okay? So if you want to step into the present moment, you got to get rid of this compare and despair game. But let me tell you how the advertising industry is keeping you in that despair and compare game. All right? So here's how it really works. All right? The advertising industry is designed to do one thing: sell products or services. Selling. That's all they do. And when you study sales, there are all sorts of persuasive techniques that you can utilize any single moment of any single day. And in order to be most persuasive, what the advertising industry has to do is change how you see yourself. Change how you see yourself internally, externally, and in the world itself. Change how you see relationships. Did you know that Hallmark cards have created Valentine's Day? That is a bunch of horse shit. There's scientific evidence, there's research, and there's all sorts of historical references about how certain holidays are created and certain things are designed. I'll give you an example. Diamonds, right? This is the one I love. We see this big movement several years ago for chocolate diamonds, and they're the premier diamond on the market. Well, that's a whole bunch of horse shit, because a chocolate diamond is actually the shittiest quality diamond you can possibly get. But they paint a story and they tell you a story by getting in your psyche and making you think you need a worthless piece of carbon that hasn't even clarified yet, and that'll make you feel better about the world. Let me give you another example. This one is one I absolutely love. Calvin Klein, right? Now, this is kind of funny, right? And by the way, I'm going to get into the theory behind how they do their work, so you'll be more on guard and more aware. And you'll be able to move out of the past, and you'll be able to stay out of the present. But Calvin Klein, back to that cat, right? Back in 1981-82, Calvin Klein decided to roll out a line of tighty-whities. Now, here's the thing. There's not a man in the world that looks good in a pair of tighty-whities unless you spend 6 or 8 hours a day in the gym. You got an 8-pack, and you got somebody fixing you vegan food and protein shakes all day long. You cannot look good in a pair of tight whites. They do not look good on people. Bottom line. But here's what Calvin Klein did. Calvin Klein said, I'm going to put my name on the front of the band. Here's the crazy shit, right? Think about the number of men every single day of their lives running around with the name of another man on their underwear. What is that all about? That's crazy. But here's how Calvin Klein did it. He decided that he would get Marky Mark, who at the time, around 1980, 81, 82, was one hot tamale. He was doing all sorts of things on TV. And Calvin Klein blasted Marky Mark in a pair of tight whites on a 50 to 75-foot billboard in Times Square. And all of a sudden, the world began to see that there is one person in the world that does look good in tighty whities, Marky Mark. Of course, he's in a gym all the time, probably has 2 personal chefs, a trainer, and somebody do his fingernails. Now, there are average dudes all over the world that saw that and they said, God, I wish I could look like Marky Mark. And then on top of that, Calvin Klein also gave you a very subtle message that if you wore those tighty whities, you were going to be doing the big wiggle a whole lot more. That is crazy. And so in one revolution in fashion, one man put his own name on your underwear, made you feel insignificant and small, made you think those underwear were going to make it so that you could be out on the prowl all the time. And then here's the other funny thing that happened. Women looked at Marky Mark, and then they went home, they looked at their miserable slap husband sitting in the chair, laying there with his boxer underwear on and his hand down his pants, and they thought to themselves, I bet I can make my husband look a little more sexy. Oh, for God's sakes, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hang on, friends. Hey, Judy. We're going to let this guy get this business blowed off. I tell you, I'm in a mood today, too. This is just crazy. Bear with me for 3 seconds. This guy's almost done. This is just crazy. I'm spending my day trying to give a good message, and I'm dealing with the lawn blower. Get on out of here, Nolita. This is crazy. You know what? I thought this was going to be peaceful. Hello, Judy. Oh my God. Would you move it on? Get on out of here. Hi, Lauren. Nice to see you. I'm waiting for just a second because it's loud over here. The guys decided to blow the damn neighborhood's yard. Don't they know? This is just irritating to me. Ha! It's crazy. He's going to be done in 1 minute. I forgot they had to blow it off. You know, here's the crazy thing. Now that I'm just waiting on this fool, these people spent probably $40 to have these two guys come out here, and they have worked for 10 minutes. Ought to be a lawn man, but it's way too hot. Way too hot. Okay, so back to Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein created an image for men that was sexified. He got into the mind of the women in those men's lives. He got in the psyche of the men that know they don't look good in a pair of tighty whities. And then he shifted all of that, and all of a sudden he started to sell millions of pairs of white underwear that I'd be embarrassed to wear because they have his name on them. Do you know, when I was in college, I was a protester. I bought myself plain tighty whities. I got myself a Sharpie marker, and I wrote Trey on the band. Because I don't want the name of some other man on my underpants. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. Okay, now here's the question you're asking. Here's the question you're asking. How did Calvin Klein do that? Or for that matter, how did BMW create this illusion that you would be driving the ultimate driving machine? Or how did Coca-Cola make you think that it's the real thing when in fact all it is a bunch of liquid poison? How has Monsanto taken over the farming industry when in fact they are exploiting our natural resources and feeding us plastic? How the hell has that happened? How has it happened? I'm going to tell you how. I'm in a good mood today, too. Good thing I haven't smoked any weed, because I might really say something that might embarrass me. So, bottom line, here's the thing. The advertising industry is a psychological manipulation mechanism. It's a tool to get in your brain and make you crazy. It's an industry based on making you feel insignificant and creating a story of unworthiness. It's an industry that promulgates a message of insignificance in order to sell products. Now, let me tell you the formula, all right? So, let's say you own a store or you own a pair of tighty-whitey company, a company to sell tighty-whities or whatever, bras that you have a string around your neck to hold up your boulders or whatever it is that you think you got to sell, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to look at all your competition. You're going to see who's in the market and what makes your product different, right? Then you're going to find somebody that's a marketing or an advertising consultant. Now, what a marketing and advertising consultant does is simply teach you how to sell your shit. That's all. But it's far more sophisticated than that. Here comes my fella again. I tell you what. I bet if I went over there and yelled at him right now, he'd beat it on. Hi, Emily, nice to see you. This is just ridiculous. Well, the good thing is the audience is building. Because they're looking at the look on my face. I'm going to throw something at him in a minute. A tire iron or something. Might get some of my fancy pillows. They're sitting up here on this patio. Just tuck them out in the middle of his little weed blower. Hi, Austin. Hang on, sister. We got a rogue lawn man going north on me here. I'm gonna stick the squirrel on it. There he goes. Thank you for making my world more peaceful. Mowing kills habitat. Okay, so back to the situation we have. Okay, the advertising industry has this manipulative ability to make you feel unworthy. So if you own a company, you go to a marketing specialist or an advertising person, you say, I need some consulting on how to promote my product. And what that marketing or advertising person is going to do is they're going to scan the industry, they're going to look at all the competition, they're going to help you define your differentiators, and then all of a sudden they're going to start doing all sorts of research on what's called the target market, right? Like with Calvin Klein, his target market was middle-aged fat dudes that look like me, and he said that's the biggest, hottest market, and there are the most people there, and if I can convince those fellas and their wives that they're going to look good in a pair of tighty-whities, then all of a sudden I'm going to make lots and lots of money, okay? So this consultant or this advertising industry is going to work with that company to define their target market, and then they're going to really drill it down. They're going to really drill it down. They're going to say, how does that target market act, think, feel, and ultimately, how do they make spending decisions? They know what you spend your money on, where you go, what your priorities are, which websites you visit, your political and religious views, everything about you. I'll give you an example. When was the last time you were thinking, oh, I'm going to buy my friend a nice little gag gift on Facebook? Do not do this. I did it the other day. I'm going to take a white elephant gift to my friend, and I ran a search on sex toys on Google. Not that I'm in the market for sex toys, I'm not, right? But I just wanted something funny to take to this silly little party. Then I sit down about an hour later, and I'm on the Facebook. And all of a sudden, all my side ads are for sex toys. What in the hell? If you think for 1 minute that these advertising people don't know every breath you take, ultimately how you spend your money, you have lost your mind. They know more about us. Every time you put your digits into the computer, that is feeding into information. Every time you put a post on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or WhipChat or Twitter or Tweeter or whatever it is this week, they're gathering your data. What you like and click on, it's going into an aggregated data pool. And what it's designed to do is tell advertisers how to sell shit to you. And so these guys are going to be helping these folks that want to sell a product, and they're going to learn as much as they can about their target market. And ultimately, they're going to know more about you than you know about you. Political campaigns do the same thing. They're also going to know about how you feel about social issues, what race you are, what kind of person you are. Are you nice or are you a horse's ass? They're going to make some assumptions about the common beliefs that you have about everything, from sex to syphilis. They're going to know what you think. And here's the thing, people are simple creatures. We are very, very simple. And if you remember what I said, we all operate in this paradigm of fear. And so all an advertiser has to do is find your fear and then exploit it, okay? And bottom line, what they will do is take that target market and then they determine the areas of weakness that that target market has. For instance, if the target market is a woman between the ages of 55 and 70, they're going to know that that woman collectively probably has body issues, concern about their weight, concern about their health, aging, wrinkles, etc., etc., etc. Not because all 50 to 70-year-old women have those challenges, but that's the preponderance of women are thinking about those things. And I could go on about that, how that all came about, but that's not germane right now, okay? Bottom line, they determine your areas of weakness that can be exploited. Their goal is to understand their potential customer so well that they can posture their product or service as the solution to the customer's pain. Remember, the goal is to sell. Then what they do is they sit down with a bunch of creative people who really know how to get in your brain. They know how to use certain types of music, certain imagery, certain smells. Did you know if you walk into a Nordstrom, for instance, a beautiful store Nordstrom, they all smell the same? That's because they have used consultants to tell them what smell you're going to enjoy most that will make you stay in there the longest, so you'll spend the most money. Right? If you go to a movie, you're seeing psychologically embedded images in the film that make you salivate for salty $16 popcorn. For God's sake, get a grip on things, my friends. We're all prey to this same story. So they design a marketing strategy and a promotional strategy. And the goal of that strategy is to get you to spend money. And based on all the knowledge they have about the target market, they craft the campaigns to do one or two or three things. First of all, make you afraid that if you live without their product, you will die. You won't get laid. You will fall apart. You will be consumed with wrinkles. You will gain massive amounts of weight. You will stink to high heaven. Let me give you an example, right? You can now go spend $9 for a stick of clinical deodorant. This one just blows the shit right off my socks, right? Clinical deodorant, right? But here's what you need to know. That clinical deodorant that you're slathering under your arms where all sorts of glands and things exist, lymph nodes, there's more lymph nodes in your underarms than a lot of places in your body, and you're slathering poison on them. Right? And you're paying $9 to do that because you're afraid if you stink, you're not going to get laid. Or people are going to make fun of you. Now here's the secret, natural secret of the day. Get yourself a piece of salt, a rock of it. Wet that salt and rub it under your pits. It will work better than the $9 clinical deodorant. Right? But see, you got to think you got to need that stuff. And so they're going to make you afraid to live without their product. And they're going to tie it to something sexual, typically. Okay? Second thing, they're going to make you feel insecure in some area, so you'll need their product or service. Let me give you an example. Axe body spray. Their target market is a boy between the ages of 14 and 22. See you later, Emily. Nice seeing you, baby. 14 to 22. Have you ever noticed their commercials are always this kind of slightly awkward looking weird kid who sprays this shit all over him? He actually smells like a bathroom at a truck stop. And then all of a sudden he walks into an elevator, and before you know it, the doors open and he comes out disheveled, looking like he's just been taken to Pound Town by a model that named Giselle from Scandinavia. What in the hell? That is just stupid. All right, now here's the third thing they do. Hi, Lynn. They make you feel special and important if you use their products. Let me give you some examples. If you drive a Mercedes, you have more money, more status. If you stay at the Hilton Marriott exclusive suites, you are more exclusive. If you drink certain things, you're more exclusive. You fit into the club, you're the popular kid. Shut the hell up. That stuff's not going to make you more popular, more beautiful, and certainly not more divine. That's a bunch of horseshit. So anyway, remember, their goal is also to make lifelong customers. So let me just take a breath for a second and tell you what they've already done. They've studied you, they know your patterns, they know your weakness, they have a product, they've designed a campaign, and they're going to make you feel insignificant without it. They're creating the wound and reinforcing the wound of unworthiness. Okay? Now, here's the thing. As human beings, our need is to not live in fear, right? And so if they can identify what the fear is that you have, maybe it's a fear of insignificance, a fear of not being seen, a fear of not having a girlfriend, a fear of aging, a fear of getting fat, whatever it may be. If they can find that fear and exploit that fear, then you will be a lifelong customer. Now, here's the thing, too, about the way they do their messages. They are so powerful that if done correctly, they change your internal belief systems. Hi, Margot. Nice to see you, baby. They change your internal belief systems. Let me give you the perfect example. And I want you to watch one of these. Oh, sorry. Earthquake. I want you to watch some of the drug advertisements, right? Hello, welcome. Naminda. Naminda does this, it does that. Now, if you watch them, though, what you see are 3 or 4 things going on. The imagery is always distracting. It's happy people playing at a beach. It's funny little creatures bouncing on things. It's something that's going to make your mind go, whoa, what is that? But at the same time, they have a soundtrack playing that's ba-ba-ba-ba, everybody's good and happy, I love it. And then they have the disclaimer undertone. If you take Naminda, it's going to make you crazy as fuck. You're going to have loose bowels. You're going to have anal leakage. You'll never be the same. You might have a heart attack and your kidneys are going to fail. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Happy people. Everybody loves it. And now buy Naminda. What the hell? Watch it one of these days. It's absolutely insane. Pharmaceutical advertising is the most sophisticated advertising in the industry because they're selling you poison and they have convinced you that you need it. And to take it a step further, the pharmaceutical industry, I know I'm going out on a rant here for a minute, and I promise you I'm going to bring it back to unconditional relationships. But the pharmaceutical industry has also begun to make up disorders. I have restless legs syndrome. I have drop penis. I have whatever it is. I mean, for God's sake, people. Did people back in the 1800s have 38 different diagnoses and a drug for everything? Hell to the no. They did not. They used plant medicine. And by the way, I think we're dying faster, or at least we're dying more tragically than some of those folks that only lived into their 40s, but they sure shit weren't sick for 20 years. They weren't obese. They weren't unhappy. Anyway, the advertising industry. Watch pharmaceuticals, right? Watch fashion. You can go to any fashion magazine rack today at the airport or wherever you go and look at the imagery. And it's always shiny, happy people that have overcome something that you're struggling with right now. The best ways to secure a man, how to deal with insecurity, how to lose that last 5 pounds, how to eat healthy on a diet, eating at McDonald's. It is insane. And then on top of that, the imagery in these magazines and billboards and on TV, they're all photoshopped. There are people that do not look like that. Look closely. Look closely. So, anyway, Once you as a consumer engage with their strategies, you're subconsciously in a relationship with these people. You're in a relationship not with your spouse or partner, not with yourself, not with your divine essence. You're in a relationship with somebody who is trying to exploit you. You're in a relationship with an industry or a company or a business that's trying to extract your resources. And they do so by whittling away and creating a subtextual message in your mind that you're unworthy and that you're insignificant. And you know what? When you finally buy that product to mitigate your problem, whether it's Calvin Klein underwear or the latest Boulder holder or the next smoking sensation or whatever it may be, you're hooked. You're hooked for life. And once you're hooked, your fears and your needs and your insecurities are continually reinforced. So you are on a crash course toward a diminished self-esteem. And on top of that, think about how they do it. They're always telling you how you can be in the future. Oh, if you want to find the love of your life, buy a Hallmark card, spend 2 months' salary on a diamond, don't get a chocolate one. Well, remember, that's my tip of the day. You got to have this kind of cake, they've got you hooked. If you have self-esteem issues related to your body, you are going to go to the next great, biggest, best thing to fix that body because you don't see your divinity. If you're convinced that your relationships are not working and so you need this latest, greatest book or helpful tip or product or set of sheets or aromatherapy candle or lubrication. I love the ads for sex products. They're absolutely insane, right? They have one out on the market right now that is, remember, it's all chemicals. You're putting that stuff in your hoo-ha, right? One chemical the man puts on his peni, one chemical the woman puts in her VJ, and then all of a sudden they start doing the big wiggle, and there's a chemical reaction in your hoo-ha, and it makes you think that the lights are going to go off and stars are going to shine. For God's sake, buy yourself some coconut oil and enjoy yourself, and it'll also smell pretty and lubricate you beautifully. I'm not trying to be crude here. I'm trying to show you how you've fallen prey to all this bullshit and how it's made you feel insignificant and unworthy. It's all about the mind games that they're playing. So, let me bring it full circle to the unconditional relationship. If you want to step fully into unconditional love, you have to cut that shit out of your life. Cut it out. Turn your TVs off. Stop watching the every ad. Judy making me laugh. Stop listening to the things that you see, all the messages that you're hearing. Stop reading the Facebook ads. It's crazy. It's crazy, but you got to break away. And when you break away, you'll go through a process of separating yourself from those messages, right? And as you whittle away and start separating yourself from those messages, then what you'll find is that you're no longer living quite as firmly in the past, and you're not living quite as firmly in the future. And then you begin to say to yourself, hello, Liz. You begin to say to yourself, okay, now I have the present moment. Because remember, you got all sorts of free time now. You're not worried about how insignificant, about comparing, about despairing, about what you should eat, what you could eat. You're not worried about the latest, greatest fashion or the nicest new car you got to get. You're not trying to find the ultimate driving machine that'll make you sexy. If you spray some Axe on, then you're going to get laid. All that stuff's out of your head. You got to clear the space up here to allow love to flow in here. That's step one. Turn it off. Step two, for the unconditional relationship. Realize that those stories of unworthiness that you hold are not true. They're not true. Sure, maybe you should get your hair cut just to pretty yourself up a little bit. Maybe you should run around the block so you could lose an extra 5 pounds, but not because you don't look beautiful. Do it because you deserve to feel healthy and happy and alert and alive. You probably should stop shoving that McDonald's down your gullet every day and eat some greens. You probably should maybe, well, you get the story here. But the bottom line is, you got to step out of this place of unworthiness. Because if you feel unworthy, you cannot honor someone to a place of worthiness. Your love is only as far as you can love yourself. You cannot pour into the love glass of someone else if your pitcher is only halfway full. You got to learn how to love yourself boldly, beautifully, and divinely. Okay, now here's the other thing I want you to know. Why should we love ourselves? Well, we should love ourselves because we are the most sophisticated. Well, I don't know if that's exactly true because there might be some aliens or something. But think about in our creation, what you see around you, the animals and the plants and the dirt and the skies and the oceans and all the wonderful elements of creation that you see around you. And ask yourself one question. Where do you play in that equation? And are you not equally as spectacular as my friend Jasper the squirrel? Yes, you are. Are you not equally as fantastic as Mount Vesuvius? Yes, you are. Are you not equally as beautiful as that hibiscus tree? And are you not growing and changing and evolving just like that live oak? Are you not blossoming and flowering just like that daffodil? Yes, you are. Are you not moving just like the butterfly out of a chrysalis into becoming something big and beautiful and bold and perfect and colorful and vibrant and alive? Yes, you are. Now stand in that place. And all these messages that you hold about how insignificant and how unworthy and how worthless and how stupid you are, knock them off. Because really what you're doing is you're saying to creation, the universe, God, however you want to frame it, you're saying, hey, creation, fuck you. You screwed up on me. Why do we do that? We do that because we live in our fears. Instead, why don't you stand in the presence of divinity? And when you stand in the presence of divinity, you know that you're a receiver of you're a receiver of everything. And you're a transmitter of everything. A receiver and a transmitter. And when you stand in a place of unconditional love, you know that you can no longer abuse yourself. You can no longer compare and despair. And what you do is set yourself on a course to become even more loving every single day. But here's the bottom line, you guys. It begins with you. Hi, Sue. Nice to see you, babe. It begins with you. So my challenge for you today, and I know this has been kind of an all over the board rant with the lawn guys and Calvin Klein and all this other stuff, but I hope you understand one big, beautiful thing. You're being manipulated every day and you've got to break away. And if you want to break away, then you can start this process of evolving into your loving essence. And when you go on that journey of moving into your loving essence, you look at every person in the world with celebration, not through a lens of judgment or criticism or expectation. You say, look at that beautiful soul. Look at that beautiful creation. And then you engage in a loving, unconditional way. You cannot be unconditional if you judge yourself or others, if you have expectations for yourself or others, or if you live with conditions for yourself or others. It cannot happen. The bottom line is, your past is over and you're not going to change it. Your future is not here yet, so stop wasting time on it and stand firmly, breathe deeply the prana of life into your soul, into your essence. Celebrate creation. Immerse yourself in nature and resonate on a pattern of love. Resonate there. I stand in gratitude to you all. I hope that this has been slightly funny and also very informative. And I invite you today to do something loving for yourself. Just figure it out. whatever that may be. Be well, friends. I'll see you tomorrow. Take good care.